It's Gold Game Saturday here in Baton Rouge, and we are live from the Manship Building patio.
We'll preview LSU's matchup against Auburn today and look back at LSU's game last week against Mississippi State.
We'll also talk to former LSU defensive end and current SEC analyst Marcus Spears, as well as women's head basketball coach Nikki Caldwell.
It's a Tiger TV Game Day show, and it starts right now. Welcome to the Tiger TV Game Day show. Once again, we're here live on the Manship Building patio overlooking Victory Hill. My name is Johnny Lombardi, and I'm pleased to have with me to my right Mr. Reggie Chatman, and then to my left Mr. Pellerin. Really excited to have you guys here on the show. It's going to be a great day. I don't think we expected to have our home opener on September 19th of this year, but today there's a 0% chance of rain, 0% chance of lightning, so football will be played tonight in Death Valley, and how nice will it be to finally have a game in Tiger Stadium?
Oh, it's going to be so nice. The weather is very warm today. The fans are here, I'm here, the teams are here. It's going to be a good day for football.
It could be nice if it wasn't so hot. Boy, it's quite a hot day. Night game wouldn't be as hot, but hey, it's going to be great just to get in the stadium and feel the game day atmosphere on campus again.
Before I begin discussing today's matchup against Auburn, Tiger TV's Taylor Curette takes us a week back to LSU's win over Mississippi State in Starkville. Let's take a look at that.
An emotional game like that, a big-time road win like that, yeah, it's not too much I can say. I mean, I just say it was a big win that we needed, and it's a momentum builder.
The Tigers were overjoyed to just get out of Starkville last week with a hard-fought win. And what's their reward? Hosting number 15 Auburn just 7 days later.
That means a lot. We get to go back to Baton Rouge and have a W, so it feels good to finally play a full game.
These days, when LSU fans hear Auburn, they recall quarterback Brandon Harris's first career start last season. But this year, Harris doesn't feel as much pressure.
My job is to drive the car, get us in the right place, and hand it off to the big beast and let them do what they do. Let them eat.
Oh man, he always tell me, man, 7, we counting on you.
Expect more of the same from Fournette in the second chapter of what Coach Les Miles thinks could be an historic season.
If they make a decision that they want to be something very, very special, they're going to have to commit to it, and it's going to take a lot of hard work. But this is a team that has that kind of talent. I'm going to suggest that they need to make that kind of commitment.
Taylor Curette, Tiger TV Sports.
Great stuff there from Taylor Curette as we take a look down Victory Hill as the LSU Tigers are preparing to make their way down into the stadium. But let's take a look at some of the key members from that victory last week, guys. One thing Tiger fans really looked forward to seeing that Mississippi State game was LSU quarterback Brandon Harris. And in that game, Harris made his second career start since his first start in Auburn last season, which was a little bit of a rocky start for Harris. He attempted only 14 passes in Starkville last week, completed 9 of them for 71 yards. 65 of those yards were on his first 4 big passes of the game. Harris did not attempt many passes in the second half as LSU's offense turned a bit conservative in that part of the game, but overall looked a lot more promising than his first and only start last season against Auburn, where he only completed 3 passes for 58 yards in that game. Harris's teammates were very, very impressed with his performance last week in a hostile SEC road environment.
He came prepared, ready to go. We've all been waiting so long, and he just had confidence. He was cool, calm, collective, all that, and he let it loose a little bit, and it was fun to watch.
Harris has yet to make a home start here while playing for LSU. Although he has come in the later stages of some games, he's yet to make an official home start. But how do you think Brandon Harris will handle tonight's matchup against Auburn, looking for a little revenge from last season?
I think he'll be very poised. I think he's going to be really, ready to go. Honestly, he put a lot of weight on over the summer. He's coming in 18 pounds heavier. I really think that this is the beginning of the Harris era here in Tiger Stadium.
I think it really starts with Les. If Les lets him throw the ball and lets him keep it on the read options, the read option was open all last week. If he can keep it, I think he makes a big impact with his legs. Jacksonville State averaged like 6 yards a carry on read option. I think Brandon can make a big impact more with his legs than his feet and his arm.
Of course, you can't mention that LSU offense without talking about number 7, Leonard Fournette. Fournette was responsible for all 3 Tiger touchdowns last week, including a score from the Wildcat formation. Sophomore phenom ran for 159 yards on 28 carries, which is his most in a Tiger uniform, as we see the LSU Tigers making their way down Victory Hill as Les Miles walking down. We love seeing the Tigers coming down Victory Hill. Great stuff there from the head coach here at LSU and the Tiger team. But continuing on with Leonard Fournette, last season at Auburn, Fournette only accumulated 42 rushing yards on 10 carries. He was not pleased with LSU's outing last year against Auburn and looks ready to take the field the second time of his career against the Auburn Tigers, this time at home.
From them, yeah, it is. They embarrassed us. You know what I mean? So just have to come in, go with the game plan and stay focused. Man, they're front for it. They're talented, and we just have to prepare for them right.
Well, we're looking at an Auburn run defense that really struggled last week against FCS Jacksonville State, as we continue to look at the players walking down the hill here in the mid-afternoon, getting ready for a much-anticipated matchup against the Auburn Tigers. But back to Leonard Fournette and this Auburn run defense. With Fournette's output and obvious talent that everyone knows about, what can he really get accomplished tonight against an Auburn defense with a lot of question marks?
Well, I mean, you talked about it earlier. 3 touchdowns for him last week. He's coming on with a chip on his shoulder. Could this be the beginning of the Heisman era, man? And people are really starting to talk about it. If he keeps up this track of what he's doing, he could really be get sent over there in the finals.
For me, it comes down to one name. It's Carl Lawson for Auburn. He's their best defensive player. He's a defensive end. He's really shrouded in question marks. He doesn't, he might not play. He might play. Lots of reports he's out for the season. Some say he's playing today. So we'll have to see if he actually suits up, takes the field. He is on the field. They can maybe slow him down. Otherwise, I don't think so.
Well, coming up after the break, I sat down with former LSU defensive end and former NFL defensive end and current SEC Network analyst Marcus Spears to talk about this LSU-Auburn matchup and some storylines in the SEC. And also later, LSU women's basketball head coach Nikki Caldwell joins the set live. Don't go anywhere. The Tiger TV Tailgate Show will be right back.
So excited to have SEC Nation back in Baton Rouge. Glad to get it in early in the season, because then I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That means maybe we can come back for a second time. Last year, so much of the deal was wanting to visit every SEC campus. This year, maybe we could sneak in a couple repeats.
ESPN's Kaylee Hartung, a member of the SEC Nation show on SEC Network. Of course, SEC Nation was here this morning in Baton Rouge for the LSU-Auburn game. And with SEC Nation being here means Marcus Spears came back, and we got to sit down with the LSU legend to talk some Tiger football. Thanks for coming back to talk to us.
Absolutely, no problem. Always a pleasure.
How does it feel to be back in Baton Rouge?
It's great. I'm glad we have a huge game this weekend. Auburn has had their struggles early this year, but I think it'll be a different team on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to the game. I just love coming back. I'm around food, and I'm good.
So shifting gears to the team that's coming into Death Valley on Saturday, the Auburn Tigers, with Gus Malzahn at the helm, a lot of success the past 2 seasons. What makes them so dynamic on offense, and what makes them so special as a team that can put up points almost at will at times?
Well, first of all, they have to get Jeremy Johnson to stop throwing
That was going to be my next question.
Their offense is a bit different because he's not that athletic guy that Cam Newton and Nick Marshall was, so it's a little bit different. Well, Malzahn has to approach his offense. He's more of a pocket passer. He can run, but he's not a real big threat to take it to the house. So that changes what Malzahn is doing offensively, but that this week will be different from the first 2 weeks. And if you don't have a sense that Auburn will look like a totally different football team Saturday, then you're mistaken, because they have legit talent. They're missing who I think is a guy on defense, and Carl Lawson, who is a game-changing type of player. We'll see if he plays. That'll help a lot if he does play. If he doesn't, it'll hurt him. But Auburn has a great program. They run a great system offensively, and he can put points on anybody if he can get his quarterback to stop turning the football over.
Do you think last week was more them just looking ahead to LSU and Jeremy Johnson just struggling as a starting quarterback in college football? Was that kind of the
I think so, and I
think
I've watched film on that Jacksonville State game a couple of times, and Jacksonville State had a great plan. They got guys in space. They ran the zone read, which hurt Auburn a lot throughout that game. They ran it 38 times, and they averaged 6 yards a carry on the zone read. So I'm pretty sure Les and Cam been looking at that, trying to figure out how they can build upon that. But it's difficult. It's difficult when you play in this league not to look ahead. If you play in a FCS school and then the next week you go to a big-time division rival, and you have to win this game. This game for Auburn determines where Auburn goes. It's not, if they would have lost to Jacksonville State, it would have been devastating, probably the worst loss in college football, but that didn't take away them with the ability to win the West. They probably would have still been in the national conversation if they have success in this league. So I think they probably got caught napping a little bit. That won't be the case this week, though.
So turning to the LSU Tigers, last week, the big win on the road against Mississippi State looked really good in the first half, maybe got a little conservative in the second half. A lot of penalties, kind of a byproduct of not playing McNeese State in week 1. What was your assessment of last week's performance?
I like the way they played in the first half. I like the way they ran the football. They're committed to making sure that Leonard has an impact on the game. And like you said, they got conservative in the second half. I watched Tennessee do it the same week. This is a league and this is a game where you have to keep your foot on the gas. And as they get more comfortable with Brandon Harris in the system, throwing the football around, it'll make them that much more dynamic. But, this LSU has been built on being able to run the football. So they're going to continue to do that. So everybody that wants Brandon Harris to throw 30 or 40 passes a game is not going to happen. But they do have to find offensive balance, and I think that's what caught up to them in the second half against Mississippi State. And not to mention, Mississippi State played a lot better in the second half also. So I make it a real point to give teams credit. LSU got conservative, but Mississippi State had something to do with it.
Real quick before we let you go, can you give us your quick key to the game for LSU and maybe a little prediction as well?
My key to the game for LSU is really more mental. Don't think that this is going to be the same Auburn team you've seen the past 2 weeks. They're going to be better. They've made adjustments the last 6 days to put Jeremy Johnson in better positions. But to me, it's having balance on offense, making sure that you get Leonard the ball, spelling with Darrell Williams and Darius Geis, make sure those guys get involved. The more you can do, the more people you have. And then let Brandon Harris throw maybe 20 times this game and make some plays. He would have actually went over 200 if 2 plays wouldn't have got called back. So I think the balance on offense and defensively, physical at the line of scrimmage. This defense is set up for corners to be able to play man-to-man in zone pressures when they're blitzing and bringing extra guys. So if they just continue to progress as Brandon gets more comfortable with the offense, I mean, we could be sitting here a few weeks from now talking about LSU being a real contender.
Awesome. Marcus, thank you so much. We really
As
appreciate
always,
having
man.
you. We'll be right back here in the Tiger TV Game Day Show with LSU women's head basketball coach Nikki Caldwell, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Tiger TV Game Day Show. I'm joined on the set with women's basketball head coach Nikki Caldwell. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Coach, we'll start with football. What's game day like for a coach of another team?
Well, game day for me is to be able to come out and just relax. I love the fact that we can put on our goal today. Today's the goal game, and we're able to get out there and just cheer our team on. Our team will be there, our coaching staff. You'll see other coaches and their teams there. It's also an opportunity for us to bring in some of the top prospects in the country. And we use this crowd and everything as a recruiting tool for us. So it's a fun atmosphere, and it's one that we also sell to our prospects.
So do you guys have anybody on campus this weekend? You got some people coming in?
Yes, every weekend that there's a home football game, you can bet that we have players and prospects come on campus. Again, it doesn't get any better than this type of atmosphere, and then really showing them what LSU football is all about.
So do you have an LSU football game day tradition?
We do. Typically we'll have breakfast, and then we'll actually go and practice, and we'll open up the practice facility so fans can come in and watch us practice. And then the girls will get dressed, and then we'll head over to the stadium.
Do you have a personal game day for yourself for women's basketball? A good luck charm, if you will?
No, not necessarily a good luck charm. I definitely want to make sure that I don't add too many rituals to a sport that I'm not coaching. But with basketball, I do have game day rituals.
Like?
Well, going home and then ciphering through my closet which pair of shoes I'm going to wear, and then I'll work my outfit out based on what shoes I'm wearing. I have a huge shoe fetish, and so that's something that I like to do. Also, putting a penny in my shoe.
You put a penny in your shoe?
I even try to find one, but it has to be on heads. It cannot be on tails. It's got to be on heads.
Is it one you just find randomly in the parking lot over there?
Randomly. It could be wherever. It could be the day before a game, and I'm looking for a penny to put in my shoe.
Tiger fans, take note. Go leave pennies in the parking lot for Coach to pick up. You have a season last year. I don't want to call it disappointing. You made the tournament, but back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances before that. You'd probably like to get back there. Do you guys have a goal going into this season?
We do. We have a great schedule, non-conference schedule. We're playing at Rutgers, at Connecticut this year. We're playing in a tournament at the Florida Gulf Coast Tournament. Stanford is a participant in that tournament, as well as Louisville, Marist. So I wanted to make our non-conference schedule as competitive as I possibly could, so we can get ready for SEC play, because that's where it's really at.
You said at UConn. Is UConn going to make a return trip down the road back here?
They will. The following year, they'll come back to us, and Rutgers will be a team that we finish our series out with, but we're adding great opponents to come in here and fill the PMAC. Obviously, we want to be competitive as we can, because like you mentioned earlier, getting to Sweet 16s, you got to look at your schedule and how you're preparing your team to get there.
You sort of mentioned it. You guys, SEC is very strong now. Does that make, with Mississippi State at the top and A&M coming along, does that make recruiting harder, or is it better because the conference as a whole is kind of rising to where Tennessee's been?
Well, I think we do a good job of selling the SEC. I think all head coaches do a great job of talking about how competitive our conference is, and night in and night out, you've got to be ready to play. And what better way to gauge yourself as a competitor to be in the most competitive conference there is in the country. And then there's some things that we do differently, obviously, from other schools. We're able to talk about the education. We're able to talk about football, game day experience, but making sure that we want them to understand, all of our other conferences to understand that we're going to represent not only our institution but the SEC.
You guys had mostly, Danielle Ballard and Moncrief helping to lead the team last year. You lose Danielle. How do you replace her production this year? Who are you looking at to rise up and fill those shoes?
Well, every year, you got players that graduate and they move on, and there's no necessarily replacing a caliber player like Ballard. You want other players to step up. Moncrief has done a great job of being a leader thus far. We expect everybody to take on that responsibility. We're challenging Ann Peterson, one of our seniors, to really be more a threat offensively. Alexis Hyder, our transfer who sat out last year, we're expecting great things from her. And we got a very talented first year class with Ayanna Mitchell and Shanice Norton. So we're wanting everybody to contribute in some form or fashion.
All right, thanks for joining us so much, Coach. We'll be right back after this.
Nothing is bigger than coming out here on a Saturday. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning, if it's in the evenings, when it is. It has no impact. It's always time to bring it and to tailgate and to bring it hard. It's Auburn. It's Auburn.
We're going to cook. We're going to provide for you. We got drinks for you. It doesn't matter if it's Auburn, Michigan. It don't matter. We coming to win, and we coming to tailgate. And if you come to our tailgate, you're going to eat and you're going to drink. You're going to leave happy unless you're an Auburn fan.
You have to bring breakfast foods early. So, you've got a group of people all around you. They're hungry. They're ready to get into this thing. It's hot. You got to hydrate. You got to eat. You have to have all the proper nutrition. So as you can see, that's going on plenty well around us early this morning.
Day games, they're great. We come early. We show up really early, cook breakfast, Bloody Marys, mimosas, whatever it takes. But it's just not quite the same.
I love a night game. Everybody here loves a night game, but sometimes day games can be fun too. This would be one of them.
Awesome stuff there from Tiger TV's Brandon Hilliard. I was about to say Brian Pellerin, because Brian Pellerin with that great interview with Nikki Caldwell. Great stuff. Can't thank Nikki enough for that. Can't thank Marcus Spears as well for his interview. But against Mississippi State, we finally got to see a smash-mouth LSU defense and see what new defensive coordinator Kevin Steele could do for the team. LSU surrendered only 19 points to Dak Prescott and the Bulldogs, including a stop on the game-tying two-point conversion. Tigers put a lot of pressure on Prescott and sacked him 3 times, which was the most he has ever been sacked in an SEC game. The defense also made a stop on the final drive of the game and forced MSU to attempt a 52-yard field goal, sealing the win for the Tigers. The Bulldogs missed that field goal. The defense is very confident heading into today's game against Auburn.
LSU defense is going to be the things that we do well, and I feel like Coach Steele does a great job of going in with a game plan that we can execute and that we can execute well, and the things that we can be confident in playing.
Just wait till the bend. Now let's take a look at the other Tigers on the field, the Auburn Tigers from the Plains. Auburn entering this game ranked 18th in the nation after starting the season ranked 6th. They had a colossal drop last week after their struggles against Jacksonville State, an FCS team that forced Auburn to win 27-20 in overtime, and they barely squeaked that one out. So what do you expect from an Auburn team today, coming off a loss but still very talented?
Well, I think that they're really going to be coming out hard, coming out guns blazing. Mr. Auburn safety Rudy Ford talked about how it shouldn't be very hard to stop Leonard Fournette, and honestly, I don't know about that. So we'll see what they can come out with defensively to see if they can stop our offense.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the first couple minutes of this game. If Auburn comes out and plays LSU close early, they can stay in this game. I don't know how Jeremy Johnson can fare with this crowd, and I think they can hang tough for a while, but it depends on injuries and Jeremy Johnson.
All right, those are some of the keys for Auburn. We're going to take a look at the LSU Golden Men from Tigerland making their way down Victory Hill right now, and we'll hear those famous notes that Mitch Rabway loves to always describe. But we'll take a listen here to the Golden Man from Tigerland.
About two of you. Building on three.
Yeah. You'll know. And Sam's sister knows.
And the Tiger Band's still taking a little bit of time to get in formation. Sorry about that, folks. A little antsy to hear the band, but real quick, I want to know some of your guys' keys to the game. Brian, we'll start with you first. Your keys to the game for LSU and your key for Auburn.
So they're lining up right now. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that it really depends on all the players that Auburn has that are injured. If they play, they got a shot at actually keeping pace, and if they don't, I mean, the crowd noise is just going to eat them alive.
Reggie, how about you? We're going to hold on, Reggie. We're going to listen to the Tiger Band real quick. Awesome. So great to hear the Golden Man from Tigerland. Tiger Nation is ready for this game. Reggie, real quick, your prediction and your keys to the game.
Keys to the game, it's going to be quarterback play. Brandon Harris, first start here in Tiger Stadium. He's got to take over. And Jeremy Johnson's thrown 5 picks for Auburn in the last 2 games against FCS opponents. It's going to be down to see how he plays. Now my prediction for the game, though, it's going to be a 31-24 win for, and watch my Mitch Rabelais impression, the Tigers.
LSU Tigers. All right, my key to the game is going to be the crowd noise early in the game. LSU hasn't had a home game this year. The McNeese game was canceled. This crowd is going to be absolutely amped up for this game. If they can be loud early and LSU put up a couple of big drives and a couple early scores and get Auburn out of it early, that's my key to the game for LSU. 38-28. LSU Tigers win the game, but that's all the time we have for this week's Tiger TV Game Day Show. Quick plug, make sure to pick up a Game Day reveille on your way to the stadium. For Brian Pellerin, Reggie Chatman, I'm Johnny Lombardi. Thank you for joining the Tiger TV Game Day Show. We'll see you 2 weeks from now for Eastern Michigan Week. Enjoy the game, Tiger fans.